Hello, good morning dear students. So in the last session what we discussed? We discussed about ordinal approach, and we all know that in this chapter we studied about two very important approaches. One is cardinal approach and another one is ordinal approach, and we already discussed about cardinal approach. And in the cardinal approach we discussed about the concept of utility. What is utility? And how the consumer behavior is expressed in terms of utility, and we also discussed about the law of diminishing marginal utility, etc. And the cardinal approach is also important and ordinal approach is also important, but the question arises, why the ordinal approach introduced by other economists? And we already know that ordinal approach that is introduced because of the two very important drawbacks of cardinal approach. And what are the drawbacks of cardinal approach? The first one is utility is a subjective concept. It means it differs from person to person, place to place and time to time. And another one, utility cannot be measured in terms of numerical aspects. So because of these two important drawbacks, the ordinal approach introduced by other economists, and we already discussed all those very important things in the last session. Okay, in the last session we also know the meaning of indifference curve, and why the concept of indifference curve occupies the very important place in the study of economics. We already discussed. Once again, we will repeat all those important things, and today we are going to learn about the very interesting topic, that is about indifference map and marginal rate of substitution. Yes, come to the point. What do you mean by indifference curve? What do you mean by indifference curve? Indifference curve shows the different combinations of two commodities on the same curve, and which gives us the same level of satisfaction. Once again, I will repeat. What do you mean by indifference curve? Indifference curve shows the different combinations of two commodities. Indifference curve shows the different combinations of two commodities which the consumer consumes, and all the combinations gives him equal level of satisfaction. See here. Just I will draw the simple indifference curve. This is the indifference curve. Okay. This is x axis and this is y axis. So here x commodity is given and here the y commodity is given. And here different combinations are there. Go through this. Okay, maybe A or maybe C or maybe D, whatever it may be. So, indifference curve which shows the different combinations of two commodities which the consumer consumes, and all the combinations gives him what? Equal level of satisfaction. Therefore, indifference curve, which is also known as iso-utility curve. What is that? Indifference curve is also known as iso-utility curve. Okay, this is a very important concept. Once again I will repeat. What do you mean by indifference curve? Indifference curve shows the different combinations of two commodities which the consumer consumes, and all the combinations gives him equal level of satisfaction. On the basis of this topic, let us try to understand the very important concept, and which is asked for 4 marks question in annual examination, and according to blueprint it is very important. What is the topic? The title of the topic is Indifference Map. Indifference map. Okay. What do you mean by indifference map? So this concept is clear. What is that? Indifference curve. Curve means single. So what it means? Indifference map. Okay. Indifference map is nothing but a group or set of indifference curves of two commodities which the consumer consumes. So I will write. It is very easy to understand. See here, what do you mean by indifference map? Indifference map, it is nothing but a group or a set of indifference curves, a group or a set of indifference curves for two commodities, showing different level of satisfaction, is called indifference map. Is called indifference map. Yes, dear students, see here, what do you mean by indifference map? Indifference map is nothing but a group or a set of indifference curves. A group or a set of indifference curves for two commodities showing different level of satisfaction is called indifference map. So let us explain the concept with the help of diagram. See here. OX, OY. On OX, X is given, and on OY, Y is given. Indifference curve 1, indifference curve 2, indifference curve 3, and it is 4. How many indifference curves are there? 4 indifference curves are there. Indifference curve 1, indifference curve 2, indifference curve 3, and indifference curve 4. So definition is given here. It is very easy to understand. What is indifference map? Indifference map, it is nothing but a group or set of indifference curves. So 4 curves are there. A group or a set of indifference curves for two commodities, X and Y. For two commodities showing different level of satisfaction. Indifference curve first gives us lower level of satisfaction comparing to second one. And indifference curve second, which gives us a lower level of satisfaction comparing to third one. And indifference curve, that is third, which gives us lower or a lesser level of satisfaction comparing to indifference curve fourth one. It means what? So when we move from curve first to second, second to third, and third to fourth, definitely we will get higher level of satisfaction. So higher the level of indifference curve, higher will be the satisfaction. Lower the level of indifference curve, and lower will be the satisfaction. Higher the indifference curve, higher will be the satisfaction. Lower the indifference curve, lower will be the satisfaction. So indifference map, it is nothing but group or a set of indifference curves of two commodities which shows the different level of satisfaction. So satisfaction of IC1 is different from 2, that is different from 3, and that is different from 4. And we can conclude that higher the curve, higher will be the satisfaction, and lower the curve, lower will be the satisfaction. And dear students, remember here, each and every consumer try to give preference to higher level of satisfaction. Definitely. That means we prefer indifference curve 4 always. If 3 are there, we prefer the highest one. If only 2 are there, we prefer the second indifference curve. It means what? So individual always, consumer always try to give preference to higher level of satisfaction, and this is called as monotonic preference. What is this? This is called as monotonic preference. Then this is asking for 2 marks question or 1 mark question. What do you mean by monotonic preference? Yes, dear students, monotonic preference means a rational consumer, an intelligent consumer always prefers higher level of satisfaction is called monotonic preference. Monotonic preference, what do you mean by monotonic preference? Consumer always try to give, that is higher indifference curve, importance to indifference curve, and that is nothing but monotonic preference. So these are the 3 important concepts of, that is the basic knowledge which is related to indifference map, and it is asked for how many marks, and it is asked for 4 marks, and it is asked for 1 mark. Totally how many marks are there in this concept? 5 marks are there. Is it clear? Then what? Explain the indifference map with the help of diagram. So first we have to write the meaning, then we have to draw the diagram, and then we have to explain this diagram, and in explanation we have to mention this. Higher the satisfaction, always consumer prefers higher level of satisfaction. It is nothing but monotonic preference, and we have to underline this monotonic preference. Is it clear? Then definitely we will get the marks 4 out of 4. ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ, ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವು ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೇಳತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ವಿಷಯ ಔದಾಸೀನ್ಯ ವಕ್ರ ರೇಖೆಗಳ ನಕ್ಷೆ ಅನ್ನುವ ವಿಷಯ. ಸೊ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ನಾವು ಔದಾಸೀನ್ಯ ವಕ್ರ ರೇಖೆ ಎಂದರೇನು ತಿಳಿದುಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಔದಾಸೀನ್ಯ ವಕ್ರ ರೇಖೆ ಎಂದರೆ 2 ಸರಕುಗಳ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಸಂಯೋಜನೆಗಳು ಒಂದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂತಹ ತೃಪ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ರೇಖೆಗೆ ಔದಾಸೀನ್ಯ ವಕ್ರ ರೇಖೆ ಎಂದು ಹೇಳಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಬರೆದಂಥದ್ದು ಔದಾಸೀನ್ಯ ವಕ್ರ ರೇಖೆಗಳ ನಕ್ಷೆ. ನಕ್ಷೆ ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಣ್ಮುಂದೆ ಬರುವುದು ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರೇಖೆ ಇರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಹಲವಾರು ರೇಖೆಗಳಿರ್ತವೆ. ಹಾಗಾದರೆ ಔದಾಸೀನ್ಯ ವಕ್ರ ರೇಖಾ ನಕ್ಷೆ ಎಂದರೇನು? ಔದಾಸೀನ್ಯ ವಕ್ರ ರೇಖಾ ನಕ್ಷೆ ಎಂದರೆ ಸೊ 2 ಸರಕುಗಳ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ತೃಪ್ತಿಯನ್ನ ಕೊಡತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಔದಾಸೀನ್ಯ ರೇಖೆಗಳ ಗುಂಪಿಗೆ ಔದಾಸೀನ್ಯ ವಕ್ರ ರೇಖಾ ನಕ್ಷೆ ಎಂದು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೇವೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಮ್ಮೆ, ಔದಾಸೀನ್ಯ ವಕ್ರ ರೇಖಾ ನಕ್ಷೆ ಎಂದರೆ 2 ಸರಕುಗಳ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ತೃಪ್ತಿಯನ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಔದಾಸೀನ್ಯ ವಕ್ರ ರೇಖೆಗಳ ಗುಂಪಿಗೆ ಔದಾಸೀನ್ಯ ವಕ್ರ ರೇಖಾ ನಕ್ಷೆ ಎಂದು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೇವೆ. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ರೇಖಾಚಿತ್ರದೊಂದಿಗೆ ವಿವರಿಸಬಹುದು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, OX ಅಕ್ಷದ ಮೇಲೆ X ಸರಕು, Y ಮೇಲೆ Y ಸರಕನ್ನು ಕೊಡಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 4 ಔದಾಸೀನ್ಯ ವಕ್ರ ರೇಖೆಗಳು ಇದ್ದಾವೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಔದಾಸೀನ್ಯ ವಕ್ರ ರೇಖೆಯು ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಕಡಿಮೆ, ಈ ಔದಾಸೀನ್ಯ ವಕ್ರ ರೇಖೆಯು ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಕಡಿಮೆ, ಈ ಔದಾಸೀನ್ಯ ವಕ್ರ ರೇಖೆಯು ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಕಡಿಮೆ ತೃಪ್ತಿಯನ್ನ ಕೊಡುತ್ತದೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು 1ರಿಂದ 2ಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ತೃಪ್ತಿಯು, 2ರಿಂದ 3ಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಇನ್ನೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ತೃಪ್ತಿಯು, 3ರಿಂದ 4ಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಇನ್ನೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ತೃಪ್ತಿಯು ನಮಗೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಹೋದಂತೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ತೃಪ್ತಿ, ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಬಂದಂತೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ತೃಪ್ತಿಯು ನಮಗೆ ಲಭ್ಯವಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಮಹತ್ವದ ವಿಷಯವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅರಿತುಕೊಳ್ಳಲೇಬೇಕು. ಏಕತಾನಾತ್ಮಕ ಒಲವು ಎಂದು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೇವೆ. ಏಕತಾನಾತ್ಮಕ ಒಲವು ಎಂದರೇನು? ಒಂದು ಅಂಕದ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಯನ್ನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. ಏಕತಾನಾತ್ಮಕ ಒಲವು ಎಂದರೆ ಅನುಭೋಗಿಯೊಬ್ಬನು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ತೃಪ್ತಿಯನ್ನ ಪಡೆಯುತ್ತಾನೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಂತಹ ಚಿತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನು 4ನೇದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮಹತ್ವ ಕೊಡುತ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಅನುಭೋಗಿಯೊಬ್ಬನು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ತೃಪ್ತಿಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಒಲವು ತೋರಿಸುತ್ತಾನೆಯೋ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏಕತಾನಾತ್ಮಕ ಒಲವು ಎಂದು ಹೇಳಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಮುಂದಿನ ವಿಷಯವನ್ನು ಅರಿತುಕೊಳ್ಳಲು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಿಸೋಣ. So dear students, this is very interesting topic. What is that? Indifference map. And the question arises, why the indifference curve is like this? This is the central picture of the central topic. Why the slope of the indifference curve is like this? Why not it is upward rising, or why not it is straight one, or why the indifference curve slopes downward from left to right? So this is the very interesting point. let us try to understand the slope of the indifference curve is downward sloping. Why and which concept is basic theme behind the slope of the indifference curve. Okay, and that is the very interesting topic, and that is nothing but diminishing marginal rate of substitution. Yes, dear students, let us try to understand law of diminishing marginal rate of substitution. I will write here law of diminishing marginal rate of substitution. Yes, what do you mean by law of diminishing marginal rate of substitution? I will write here MRS. What do you mean by MRS? Marginal rate of substitution. ಅಂಚಿನ ಇಳಿಮುಖ ದರದ ಬದಲಿಕೆಯ ನಿಯಮ ಎಂದರೇನು? ಅಂಚಿನ ಇಳಿಮುಖ ದರದ ಅರ್ಥವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಹೀಗೆ ಅರ್ಥೈಸಬಹುದು. It means how much of commodity X, how much of commodity Y the consumer is ready to forgo in order to have one additional unit of EX commodity. Yes. What do you mean by law of diminishing marginal rate of substitution? Law of diminishing marginal rate of substitution means how much of commodity Y the consumer is ready to give up in order to have one additional unit of X. Yes, dear students, always with a limited help of income, we already studied about the budget set, and that is the basic and very important concept which throws light on the consumer behavior. If you want to purchase more of one commodity, we have to give up another one. We all know that. And this diminishing marginal rate of substitution which threw light on the same concept. So in our example, two commodities are there. Yes, what are the two commodities? One is X and another one is Y. Is it clear? So X is which is shown on X axis and Y is shown on Y axis. If you want to purchase more of Y, we have to give up X, or if you want to purchase more of X, we have to give up Y. So it means how much of commodity Y the consumer is ready to give up to gain one additional unit of what? X. So that is explained with the help of the very interesting numerical example and the diagram. See here, schedule is given. Combination. This is the first one. And the second what? The X commodity is shown and Y commodity is shown. And here MRS is given. What is this MRS? Marginal rate of substitution. How many combinations are there? A, B, C, D and E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 combinations are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So This is 12, 8, 5, 3, 2. And MRS, this is dash. And here what? 1:4. 1:3. 1:2. And 1:1. This is the very interesting example. Check it. So how many combinations are there? 5 combinations are there. And x 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and y, that is 12, 8, 5, 3, 2. That means which we consume. Okay. So see here, if he want to purchase one extra x, 1 to 2, one extra unit of x, how much he has to give up here? 12 to 8. What is the difference, students? 4 is the difference. So what it means? इसका मतलब क्या है? 1:4. That means 1:4. Is it clear? Suppose again what happens if he or she wants to purchase one more of x? He has to give up here 3. So here one more of x and he has to give up 2. One more of x he has to give up 1. So what is the ratio? 1:4, 1:3, 1:2 and 1:1. And because of this marginal rate of substitution, the indifference curve is sloping downward. And the slope that goes on declining. And the slope is not like straight. So it is declining. For first it is more, second it is less, and third it is less like this. So see the difference and it is very clear. So now I will explain how the marginal rate of substitution, how it is calculated. And after that we will draw the diagram. See here, how to calculate the marginal rate of substitution. So it is also asked for, that is 1 mark question. Or take for example, for abbreviation it is asked expand MRS. You have to write marginal rate of substitution. If question is like this, what do you mean by MRS? What do you mean by MRS? Then you have to write this answer. For expansion, what to write? Marginal rate of substitution. And if the question is like this, what do you mean by? What is marginal rate of substitution? Then you have to write the meaning. Is it clear? That the one more possibility is there. Write the formula of MRS. How the MRS is calculated? Marginal rate of substitution of x and y, that is equal to delta y divided by delta x. Delta y divided by delta x. So what delta represents here? Delta represents change. Delta represents change. So in our example, see here the change of y. So 12 to 8 means 4 divided by 1. The answer is equal to 4. See here, 3 divided by 1. The answer is equal to 3. 2 divided by 1. The answer is equal to 3 to 1 like this. How to calculate marginal rate of substitution of x and y? Delta y divided by delta x. ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ, ಈ ನಿಯಮದ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಅಂಚಿನ ಇಳಿಮುಖದ ಬದಲಿಕೆಯ ನಿಯಮದ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ನಾವು y ಅನ್ನು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕಾದರೆ x ಅನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. x ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಪಡೆಯಬೇಕಾದರೆ y ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಬದಲಿಕೆ ನಿಯಮದ ದರ ಎಂದು ಹೇಳಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಈ ಉದಾಹರಣೆಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ವಿವರಿಸಬಹುದು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 5 ಸಂಯೋಜನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಡಲಾಗಿದೆ. x ಮತ್ತು y ಎರಡು ಸರಕುಗಳು ಇದ್ದಾವೆ. ಸೊ x 1 2 3 4 5 ಘಟಕಗಳು. ಸೊ y 12 8 5 3 2. ಮೊದಲನೆಯ ಸಂಯೋಜನೆಗೆ ಇದನ್ನು 1 ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡರೆ ಇದು 12, 2 ಇದ್ದಾಗ 8, 3 ಇದ್ದಾಗ 5, 4 ಇದ್ದಾಗ 3, 5 ಇದ್ದಾಗ 2. ಸೊ ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಂಯೋಜನೆಗಳ ಅಂಕಿಅಂಶಗಳನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ವಿಷಯ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ನಾವು x ಅನ್ನು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಪಡೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕಾದರೆ y ಅನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಒಂದು x ಘಟಕವನ್ನು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕಾದರೆ y ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು 4 ಬಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಪಡೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕಾದರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ y ನಾವು ಬಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. 1ಕ್ಕೆ 4, 1ಕ್ಕೆ 3, 1ಕ್ಕೆ 2, 1ಕ್ಕೆ 1. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಅನುಪಾತದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಬದಲಿಕೆಯ ನಿಯಮವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅರಿತುಕೊಳ್ಳಬಹುದು. ಇದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಔದಾಸೀನ್ಯ ವಕ್ರ ರೇಖೆಯು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಇಳಿಮುಖವಾಗಿರುತ್ತದೆ. ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ, ಈ ಬದಲಿಕೆಯ ನಿಯಮದ ದರವನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಯಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ? ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೂತ್ರವನ್ನು ಕೊಡಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಸೂತ್ರದ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಬದಲಿಕೆ ನಿಯಮದ ದರ x ಮತ್ತು y ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಡೆಲ್ಟಾ y ಭಾಗಿಲೆ ಡೆಲ್ಟಾ x ಅಂತ. ಈ ಡೆಲ್ಟಾ ಚಿಹ್ನೆಯು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಯನ್ನು ತೋರಿಸತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ವಾಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಆದಂತಹ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ 12ರಿಂದ 8 ಎಷ್ಟು ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಯಿತು? 4. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 1ರಿಂದ 2 ಎಷ್ಟು ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಯಿತು? 1. ತಾವು ಉತ್ತರವನ್ನು ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಯಬಹುದು. 4 ಭಾಗಿಲೆ 1, 3 ಭಾಗಿಲೆ 1, 2 ಭಾಗಿಲೆ 1 ಹಾಗೆ ಇದು ಮುಂದುವರಿಯುತ್ತದೆ. ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಈ ಅಂಚಿನ ಇಳಿಮುಖ ಬದಲಿಕೆ ನಿಯಮದ ದರದ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಈ ಔದಾಸೀನ್ಯ ವಕ್ರ ರೇಖೆಯ ಇಳಿಜಾರು ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿರುತ್ತದೆ ಎಂದು ನಾವು ಹೇಳಬಹುದು. ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಚಿತ್ರದೊಂದಿಗೆ ತೋರಿಸಿ ಅದು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿರುತ್ತದೆ, ಇಳಿಜಾರು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿರುತ್ತದೆ ಎಂಬುದನ್ನು ತಿಳಿದುಕೊಳ್ಳಲು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಿಸೋಣ. With the help of this example, dear students, let us try to study the slope of the indifference curve. Why the slope is like that? Why it is sloping downward? That is very interesting one. And it is very, very important from the point of view of examination. Not only for PU examination, in also that is a competitive exam, this question is asked. Why the slope of the curve is like this and how the MRS is calculated. Let us try to draw the diagram. Already we explained in the last session. Once again we will try. Yes, my dear students, check it. This is x and this is y. X 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here x is given and here what? Y is given. See the scale, 12 is given, so you have to take 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So x1, y12. 2, 8. 2, 8. 3, 5. 4, 3. 5, 2. See here. What is this indifference curve? Now I will show the slope here. Check it. This is the slope. And the slope is falling. See the area here? Here it is more, less, again it become lesser and again it become lesser. Why? It is because of like this, it is because of the marginal rate of substitution. Yes, the concept is clear now. And because of the marginal rate of substitution, the slope of the indifference curve is downward sloping. And the slope that is falling because the marginal rate of substitution is also falling. So this is the very important concept given here. ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ, ಸೊ ನಮಗೆ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದಂತಹ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ, ಈ ವಕ್ರ ರೇಖೆಯ ಇಳಿಜಾರು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಇಳಿಮುಖವಾಗಿರುತ್ತದೆ ಅನ್ನುವುದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅರಿತುಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಈ ಅನುಪಾತವನ್ನು ಗಮನಿಸಿದಾಗ ಒಂದು ವಿಷಯ ನಮಗೆ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಈ ಬದಲಿಕೆ ನಿಯಮದ ದರವು ಇಳಿಮುಖವಾಗಿದೆ. ಈ ದರದ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದಂತಹ ಪರಿಣಾಮವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಈ ರೇಖಾ ಚಿತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ತಿಳಿದುಕೊಳ್ಳಬಹುದು. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಔದಾಸೀನ್ಯ ವಕ್ರ ರೇಖೆಯ ಇಳಿಜಾರು ಕಡಿಮೆಯಾಗುತ್ತಾ ಬರುತ್ತದೆ. ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮವಾಗಿ ಗಮನಿಸಬಹುದು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಂತಹ ವಿಸ್ತೀರ್ಣ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅನ್ನುವ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ. ಸೊ ಉತ್ತರ ಇಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ಈ ಇಳಿಮುಖ ಬದಲಿಕೆಯ ನಿಯಮದ ದರದ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಔದಾಸೀನ್ಯ ವಕ್ರ ರೇಖೆಯು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಇಳಿಜಾರಾಗಿರುತ್ತದೆಯೋ ಮತ್ತು ಇಳಿಜಾರು ಇಳಿಮುಖವಾಗಿರುತ್ತದೆ ಎಂಬುದನ್ನು ನಾವು ತಿಳಿದುಕೊಳ್ಳಬಹುದು. My dear students, this is about indifference map and monotonic preference and how the marginal rate of substitution is calculated and why the slope of the curve is like this and why the ratio is downward falling. So this is very important. Yes, go through these all important very interesting points and please note these all points in your notebook and go through the question bank that is given by our sir, and very interesting points these all are. Yes, go through these all very important concepts once again. Okay, take care, stay happy.